The ultimatum, the message, arrived at Earth's orbital defense station at exactly 0800 hours, transmitted through quantum channels that humanity had only recently learned to access. Commander Marcus Reed stood before the main view screen, his weathered face reflecting years of service in Earth's unified fleet. Behind him, dozens of officers worked at their stations, monitoring the vast expanse of space that surrounded their home planet. None of them expected what was about to unfold. The transmission materialized as a hologram in the center of the command deck. A being of impossible beauty and terrible power appeared before them. The Zealothi High Chancellor stood 3 meters tall, with crystalline skin that refracted light into rainbow patterns. Its 6 eyes, arranged in perfect symmetry, studied the humans with cold calculation. When it spoke, the voice resonated directly in their minds, bypassing the need for translation. Species designation: human. Planet designation: Earth. Solar system: Sol. You have been evaluated by the Galactic Senate. The Chancellor's form pulsed with energy as it continued. Your rapid technological advancement poses a threat to established galactic order. Your violent history demonstrates inability to coexist peacefully with superior civilizations. The Senate has reached unanimous decision. Marcus felt his jaw tighten. Around him, his crew had stopped working, all eyes fixed on the alien projection. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, his second in command, moved to stand beside him. Her hand instinctively moved toward her sidearm, though she knew it would be useless against a hologram. The Chancellor raised one of its 4 arms, and new images appeared around it. Star maps showing human colonies, trade routes, and military installations. Every detail was perfect, showing that the Zealothi had been watching them for years, maybe decades. You will comply with the following terms within 48 standard hours. First, all human military vessels will power down weapons and surrender to Zealothi custody. Second, humanity will abandon all colonies beyond your origin system. Third, your species will submit to genetic modification to reduce aggressive tendencies. Fourth, Earth will accept permanent Zealothi oversight. The bridge erupted in angry voices. Officers shouted protests, some cursing in languages from across Earth. Marcus raised his hand for silence, his eyes never leaving the Chancellor, and if we refuse. The alien's expression remained unchanged, but the temperature in the room seemed to drop. Refusal is extinction. The Zealothi Empire commands 10,000 warships, each one capable of rendering planets uninhabitable. You have seen what we did to the Corvan when they resisted. Their homeworld is now asteroid debris. Their species exists only in our archives. Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear Marcus knew she felt. You're asking us to become slaves, to give up everything that makes us human. We ask nothing, the Chancellor replied. We inform you of your only option for survival. Humanity's warrior nature has been noted across the galaxy. Other species fear what you might become if allowed to spread unchecked. The Senate agrees. You are a virus that must be contained or eliminated. The hologram began to fade, but the Chancellor's final words echoed through the bridge. 48 hours. Choose wisely. Silence filled the command deck. Marcus could hear his own heartbeat, could feel the weight of 3 billion human lives across the solar system pressing down on his shoulders. He turned to Sarah, seeing his own determination reflected in her eyes. Send Priority 1 communication to President Harrison. Tell her we need an emergency session of the Colonial Defense Council. And Sarah paused, choosing his words. Carefully, tell her to activate Protocol 7. Sarah's eyes widened. Protocol 7 was a myth, a legend whispered about in military academies. It was supposedly humanity's last resort, a secret so well guarded that most people didn't believe. It existed, sir. Are you certain? The Zealothi think they know everything about us, Marcus said, looking out at the stars. They've been watching our colonies, our trade ships, our public military forces. But humanity learned long ago that the best way to survive is to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. It's time to show them what we've been building. In the dark, within an hour, Earth's leadership had assembled in the secure bunker beneath Mount Cheyenne. President Lisa Harrison sat at the head of the table, her face grave as she reviewed the reports. Around her sat the leaders of Mars, the asteroid mining guilds, and the commanders of humanity's military forces. General James Thompson from the Marine Corps, Admiral Yuki Tanaka from the Navy, and Director Michael Roberts from Special Projects. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison began, we face the greatest threat in human history. The Zealothi Empire has given us an ultimatum: surrender or die. She activated a holographic display showing the enemy fleet positions. Intelligence confirms at least 3,000 HFY warships massing near Neptune. They're not bluffing, General. Thompson slammed his fist on the table. Then we fight. Humans don't kneel to tyrants, whether they're from Earth or from the stars. With what? Admiral Tanaka asked. Our entire fleet consists of 200 ships. Even if each one took down 10 enemy vessels, we'd still be outnumbered. Director. Roberts cleared his throat. He was a quiet man, unremarkable in appearance, but his eyes held secrets. Perhaps it's time to discuss what doesn't officially exist. The room fell silent. Harrison nodded. Director Roberts, you have the floor. Roberts stood, his fingers dancing across a hidden control panel. The lights dimmed, and new holograms appeared. Not the familiar ships of Earth's fleet, but something else. Massive constructions hidden in the darkness between Neptune and Pluto. Stations built into asteroids throughout the belt. Ships of impossible size tucked away in the shadows of Jupiter's moons. For the past 70 years, Roberts began, humanity has been preparing for this day. We call it Project Titan. When we first detected alien signals 50 years ago, we realized we were not alone. When we saw the ruins of the Corvin homeworld through our telescopes 30 years ago, we knew that being not alone meant being in danger. The holograms zoomed in, showing details that made even the seasoned military commanders gasp. Ships that dwarfed anything in the official fleet. Weapons based on theoretical physics that shouldn't be possible. Defense stations that could withstand planetary bombardment. We've been building in secret, Roberts continued. Every mining operation had a secondary purpose. Every deep space research station was also a weapons laboratory. Every colony ship that went missing wasn't lost. They were repurposed. We now have 800 Dreadnought-class warships hidden throughout the system. Each one carries weapons that make nuclear missiles look like firecrackers. Admiral Tanaka leaned forward, studying the specifications. These power readings can't be right. You'd need a star's worth of energy to run these systems. Antimatter reactors, Roberts replied simply. We've been harvesting it from Jupiter's magnetosphere for 20 years. Each dreadnought carries enough power to fight for months without refueling. Harrison stood, her decision made. The vote before us is simple. Do we surrender and hope the Zealothi keep their word about our survival? Or do we show them that humanity doesn't yield to threats? One by one, hands raised round the table. The vote was unanimous. Marcus received the response on the bridge of the orbital station. A simple message that would change history. Protocol 7 authorized. Operation Defiance is go. He turned to his crew, seeing fear, determination, and pride in their faces. Send a message to the Zealoty Chancellor. 2 words only. He paused, thinking of all the times in human history when people had stood against impossible odds. Tell them we refuse. Sarah's fingers flew across her console. Message sent. Commander. What now? Now we wait, Marcus replied. And we prepare to show the galaxy what happens when you corner humanity. The countdown began immediately. 47 hours, 59 minutes. Across the solar system, hidden facilities came to life. Workers who had lived their entire lives maintaining equipment they were told might never be used suddenly found themselves at the center of humanity's survival, deep beneath the ice of Europa. Captain Diana Foster powered up systems that had been dormant for 5 years. Her dreadnought, the EHS Retribution, was one of 800 scattered throughout the system. The ship was 2 kilometers long, built in sections over 20 years, and assembled in secret. Its hull was composed of an alloy that shouldn't exist, forged in zero gravity using techniques developed in hidden laboratories. All stations report ready. Captain, her executive officer, Commander Alan Price, announced. Antimatter containment stable. Weapons systems online. The crew is prepared. Diana nodded, feeling the weight of command. Her crew of 3,000 had trained for this moment, but none of them had ever fired their weapons in actual combat. Send confirmation to command. Retribution stands ready. Meanwhile, at the edge of the solar system, the Zealoty fleet continued to mass. Admiral Krekstar commanded from the flagship Dominator, a vessel that had conquered 17 systems. The insectoid admiral studied the human response with amusement. They said no. Do they not comprehend the magnitude of our power? His lieutenant, our reptilian sectary, hissed in agreement. The humans are known for their irrational pride. Perhaps a demonstration is needed. Agreed. Target their Mars colony. A single bombardment should convince them to reconsider. The fleet began to move, 10,000 ships flowing through space like a metallic tide. They expected fear. They expected panic. They expected humanity to break. They were wrong. At hour 36, President Harrison made a broadcast to all human colonies. My fellow humans, in 12 hours, we face an enemy that believes our species is too dangerous to exist free. They see our strength as a threat, our adaptability as a disease, our refusal to submit as arrogance. She paused, looking directly into the camera. They're right about one thing. We are dangerous. Dangerous to those who would enslave us. Dangerous to those who would destroy our children's future. Today, humanity shows the galaxy that we will not go quietly into servitude. The speech sparked something across human space. On Mars, colonists who had been preparing to evacuate instead began converting mining equipment into weapons. In the asteroid belt, miners welded additional armor to their ships. On Earth, civilians organized into militia units, knowing they might be the last line of defense. But the real preparation happened in the shadows. Dreadnought crews ran final checks on weapons that had never been tested in combat. Systems that existed only in theory were about to face the ultimate trial. Captain Foster stood on her bridge, watching her crew work with practiced efficiency. Remember your training, she told them. We get one chance to surprise them. Make it count. Hour 24 arrived with the Zelithy fleet crossing Neptune's orbit. Admiral Kregstar was confident. His sensors showed the pathetic human fleet of 200 ships gathering near Earth. They clustered together like frightened animals. This will be even easier than calculated. Then something unexpected happened. Quantum signatures began appearing across the solar system. Not a few, but hundreds. The Zelithy sensors struggled to process what they were detecting. Ships were emerging from hidden positions, but these weren't the small vessels they had catalogued. These were monsters. Admiral, the Sectari lieutenant's voice carried fear for the first time in decades. We're detecting 800 unknown vessels. Their energy signatures are ... impossible. On the bridge of the Retribution, Diana gave the order that would echo through history. All Dreadnoughts, this is Retribution, actual. Operation Defiance is go. Show them what humanity builds when threatened. 800 Dreadnoughts emerged from their hiding places simultaneously. They rose from beneath the ice of moons, emerged from hollow asteroids, and dropped their stealth fields in empty space. Each one was a masterpiece of human engineering, bristling with weapons that channeled energies that theoretically shouldn't be controllable. The Zelithy fleet, for the first time in 300 years, hesitated. Admiral Kregstar's compound eyes widened as he processed the tactical display. This is impossible. Our intelligence said they had no such vessels. Admiral, his weapons officer reported, voice shaking, their weapons are charging. Energy levels exceed anything in our databases. Marcus stood on Earth's orbital station, watching the tactical display with grim satisfaction. All Dreadnoughts, this is Commander Reed. You know what's at stake, for our children, for our future, for our freedom. Fire. 800 Dreadnoughts fired simultaneously. Not lasers, not missiles, but something new. Humans had studied the fundamental forces of the universe and found ways to weaponize them. Gravitational pulses that twisted space itself. Antimatter. Beams that annihilated anything they touched. Quantum torpedoes that phased through shields as if they didn't exist. The first Zelithy ships simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed, but unmade at the atomic level. The perfect formation that had conquered worlds dissolved into chaos. Ships collided, trying to evade weapons they didn't understand. Commanders screamed orders that made no sense because they're tactical. Doctrines had no response to what was happening. Captain Forster watched her weapons tear through a Zelithy battleship twice the size of her dreadnought. Target the next vessel. Don't give them time to adapt. But adaptation was what humans did best, and they had prepared for every contingency. When the Zelithy tried to retreat, they found human ships already blocking their escape routes. When they attempted to call for reinforcements, they discovered their communications jammed by technologies they couldn't comprehend. Admiral Kregstar watched his fleet being systematically destroyed. In 3 hours, he had lost 4,000 ships. The humans had lost 7. This cannot be happening. We are the Zelithy Empire. We have ruled for millennia. His lieutenant approached with a message. Admiral, the humans are broadcasting. President Harrison's face appeared on their screens. Behind her stood the united leadership of humanity. Admiral Kregstar, you came to our home and demanded our surrender. You threatened our children. You called us a virus. Her expression was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. You were right to fear us, not because we're conquerors, but because we're survivors. Humanity doesn't start fights, but we finish them. The battle continued for 6 more hours. By the end, the Zealothi fleet was reduced to scattered survivors, fleeing toward the edge of the solar system. The Dreadnoughts pursued them just far enough to ensure they wouldn't return, then held position. Humanity had made its statement in the aftermath. As debris floated through space and the galaxy reeled from the news, Marcus stood with Sarah on the observation deck. "Do you think they'll come back?" Sarah shook her head. "Not the Zealothi, but others might. The galaxy just learned that humans are more dangerous than they imagined." "Then we'll be ready," Marcus replied. "We always are." The news spread across the galaxy within days. The Zealothi Empire, which had never lost a battle, had been crushed by a species they had dismissed as primitive. The Galactic Senate called emergency sessions. Some species proposed immediate peace treaties with humanity. Others suggested alliance offers. A few whispered about hiring humans as mercenaries. But on Earth, the mood was different. Not celebration, but determination. President Harrison addressed the galaxy in a broadcast that would be studied for centuries. "Humanity seeks peace, but we will not accept chains. We offer friendship, but we will not tolerate threats. We extend our hand in cooperation, but that hand can also become a fist. The galaxy has seen what we build when threatened. Imagine what we could create together in peace." Captain Foster remained at her post aboard the Retribution, now permanently. Stationed as part of Earth's defense fleet, the Dreadnoughts were no longer secret. They patrolled human space openly, a reminder to any who might consider humanity an easy target. The Zealothi Chancellor, wounded but alive, sent one final message. "To Earth, we underestimated you. The galaxy underestimated you. That won't happen again." Marcus read the message and smiled grimly. "No, it won't. Because now they know the truth. Humans don't conquer. We don't subjugate. But when cornered, when our freedom is threatened, we become something our enemies never expect. We become unstoppable." The stars continued to shine, indifferent to the drama below. But for humanity, those stars no longer represented unknown threats. They were possibilities, adventures, and futures where human children could grow up free. The Dreadnoughts had emerged from shadow, and with them, humanity had claimed its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as a species that would never again kneel to tyrants. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humans said no to ultimatums, and when the Dreadnoughts emerged, that no became absolute.